right, I am going to let you in on a secret about Medicare and I say it's a secret because it doesn't get talked about enough. And that is that right now is the best time to get started in Medicare. And certainly if you're already selling Medicare, it's absolutely the best time to make a change if you are going to be looking for new contracts or a different upline. So I am much more known for my life insurance training. That is my specialty. I'm super good at that and everything. But what a lot of people don't know is that I do also offer Medicare to my clients. And that's how I got started selling Medicare is my clients ask me to, please, Noelle, will you also be my Medicare agent? And I have to say, if you're a life insurance agent and you're wondering how you can expand your sales, how you can expand your renewals, how you can get more out of your marketing dollars and more off of every lead, I encourage you to consider Medicare. Many people have been told that there's no money in it and all that. And that's so not true. I was told the same thing when I got started selling live. Don't worry about it. Nobody makes any money. That's absolutely not true. There is plenty of money to be made and the renewals are very nice. So I'm not here to sell you on selling Medicare, but I would ask that you consider it if you haven't done it yet. Most of you that are watching this have already been wondering, how do I get started selling Medicare? Or, my last season didn't go so great. How do I make a change and make it better for this next season? Most people only think about the fall, and that's where everybody talks about the fall. But the fact is, people are turning 65 every single day of the year. People are moving. And if they're on a Medicare Advantage plan, if they're moving, typically they need a new Medicare Advantage plan because that's based on networks and areas and regions and all that stuff. And sometimes they have a health event that means they need to also switch plans. So there's any number of reasons that all throughout the year, outside of annual enrollment period in the fall and open enrollment, that happens in January, that people would still be needing a Medicare plan. So my advice to you right now, if you've been thinking about doing Medicare, is don't wait until the last minute. A lot of people wait and get started on their AHIP in July or August. It takes them longer than they expect. And then they're at the last minute trying to get it done in September or October. That's not going to work out too well. By then, the carriers are completely bombarded by contracting requests. You may not even be declared ready to sell until November. AEP will be half over with. You'll be frustrated. You'll say, what was the point of this? I wasted $125 and, go back to whatever you were doing before and have wasted a bunch of time. I want to keep you from having that happen to you. So my advice to you is get certified now. At the time of this, it's April, the very beginning of April. This is the perfect time to get started with your AHIP. Now, full disclosure, that means that you will be doing this year's AHIP, paying $125 for this year. And then when the new AHIP comes out, that will be for next year in July or August, you will have to pay $125 again. I do want you to know that. But I am very strongly of the opinion that you cannot put a price tag on the experience that you will gain by doing some Medicare now. Maybe you help your parents. Maybe you help your grandparents. Maybe you just add it to your business card and start talking about it with your clients. If you get one sale, it will more than cover the $125 extra that you spend by getting certified right now. And as I said before, there's no price tag that you can put on the amount of experience that you are going to receive by getting started now and not waiting till the fall. You will know how to quote. You will know how to find the right plan. So then when it is super busy in the fall, you're like, oh, I got this. No problem. You can handle the influx of new people that are going to be calling you and emailing you and all those things. So get started now. And then getting the discount. A lot of people are very concerned about getting a discount. Yes, you can get a discount on your AHIP. If you want to sell prescription drug plans, if you want to sell Medicare Advantage plans, you are going to, for the most part, need the AHIP. Yes, there are some carriers that don't require it. Typically what happens is people certify with those carriers for the first year, get halfway through the selling season and realize, well, dang it, I should have just done the AHIP. And so cut to the chase and just do the AHIP. It's really not that hard. There are tutorials that you can get. And here's the key. You do not have to sign on the dotted line with a company in order to get a discount on the AHIP. A lot of people will say, hey, if you sign up with my company right now, I'll give you a discount on the AHIP. Well, here's the secret. You can get a discount just by going to the carrier's website, and they will give you the discount. The only bigger discount than that is oftentimes agencies or recruiters will offer to pay for the AHIP for you. That can be a great thing, but I do want to, since you haven't done Medicare before, I want to give you a heads up and let you know that oftentimes those are captive organizations. Captive isn't always bad, but you got to know it going into it. This may mean that because they pay for your AHIP, you're committed to working for them for a year, or they're not going to give you your renewals or anything like that. That's not always true, but go into it with your eyes open and ask the recruiter about those things. And if they have an agent contract, do make sure that you are reading the agent contract. Okay, so I'm going to put the link to how to get your AHIP done with the discount, meaning it will be $125. Just by going through this link, it automatically applies it. You're not signing up to work with me. You don't even necessarily have to work with this specific carrier, but it will allow you into the AHIP portal so that you can get a certification, and from there, get set up with basically any carrier that you want to. Okay, you can also use this as continuing education. That's another question I get quite a bit. Can my AHIP certification work for continuing education? Yes, it can, but you'll have to pay something like $30 to count it as continuing education. So you'll first pay your $125 to take the AHIP, then you'll have to pay another $30 to get a certificate that says it's continuing education. Now, when you bear in mind that most of the time you can get your continuing education done for about $40 through 80 Bank or a Web CE, some people say it's not worth the dollars and cents. I see it as I spent my time doing this. It saves me time from having to do more of these things elsewhere. Now, it's not going to fulfill your entire continuing education requirement, but it will fulfill an elective credit. And I do use it as my continuing part of my continuing education every couple of years when I do have to recertify. So again, the link will be below. For those of you who are thinking about moving contracts, no doubt about it, you have to get started moving your contracts now. If you wait until the fall, it will be too late. And here's why. Most agencies will not grant you an immediate release. And certain carriers are becoming more and more difficult about moving contracts. And so even if your upline is willing to give you a release, often the carrier wants to make you wait. So get started with that now, because even if your upline refuses to give you a release, and like I said, I don't love that. I, personally grant immediate releases to my agents that are in good standing and all that. But most agencies do not. And don't waste your time beating your head against a wall. If they've said they're not going to give you a release, it doesn't matter how far up the chain you're going to run it. If that's the company's policy, that's the company's policy. I see a lot of agents expending a lot of energy on releases, and that energy would be much better spent making some sales, because I'm telling you, you're not going to get them to change their policy. And so what you can do is you can apply for a release. And in the meantime, this is the wonderful thing about Medicare. It's not like life insurance. Once you've applied for the release, you can continue to sell, and that won't affect whether or not the carrier grants you a release. So in the event you don't get immediate release from your upline, you can get a release from the carrier after their waiting period and even sell in the meantime. It's a wonderful thing, but you got to get started with that now. And also, hey, if this is only your first or second year doing Medicare, and you're thinking about changing uplines because this season, this meaning the past fall, didn't turn out right, you didn't become, earn 100,000 in renewals in your very first year, and somebody told you that they would. Well, if that's what your recruiter told you, I mean, full disclosure, very rarely. It does happen. It's like a 1 in 100,000 thing that agents do that. You're not a failure. And so you can switch up lines, but you don't have to. Everybody's first AEP is a disaster. So that doesn't mean you're bad at Medicare. It doesn't even always mean that your upline is lousy. So think about that. It doesn't always mean that you need to move your contracts, but if you want to move your contracts, now is the time to do it. You've got to get that ball rolling. So again, the link for the AEP or the AHIP discount is going to be below. Get started on your Medicare sales right now. You will be so grateful that you did not wait until September or October to get the ball rolling on that. So I wish you all the success.